Good morning, everybody. Welcome back. Now, you join me today. I'm in my workshop as usual, and here's the Cortina. And this video is going to be a little bit different to the last two. I'm going to show you around the car, do a little walk around of what I've done. Not a lot, to be fair, but also got something else installed as well that you might enjoy. Hopefully you will. So here's the first project that I've come across in the yard. This is Dale's Cortina. And the last time I saw this was when I came up to help for the weekend, and we tried to get it running for one of the classic car bunker videos. But it's very different to how you see it now. All the interior was inside, not in place. The wing was taped on, and still had stuff in the boot. All your project cars have got stuff in the boot until they're built, of course. But this is a 2-litre gear Mark 5. This is forest green, and it's a very solid car actually when you look at it. Someone's had a go at trying to paint it, as you can see in places. The front wing got painted. Both front wings I think got painted. Look at that in there. Green Cosworth interior, very nice. Look at that. I think when I last saw it as well, it had a piece of glass instead of the sunroof. Looks like Dale's managed to fit the sunroof, so that's pretty cool. But just look how solid this thing is. Look at that. Cool number plate. It's got, but it's very, when I had a look around it last time I was here, there's very little corrosion. You can see down there, obviously it's had a little bit of work. But I mean, look, all the usual places, tiny bit there, but look at that. A little bit down there, but nothing. You've got to bear in mind how old these things are now. 58,000. I wouldn't be surprised if that's original for this. I have a feeling, I'll ask Dale, but I think it is original. And there's that 2-litre Pinto. I remember if you haven't seen the video, I'll put a link in the description. You can go and have a look. Where we had a go at getting it running after 20 something years. I think 1990 something this come off the road. I can't remember off the top of my head. But yeah, very good. Front valance all nice. Look at that. So good, this thing. Had a cam belt very recently, look. very smart car, and I know Dale has a lot of memories of Cortinas from when he was growing up, so he wants to eventually make this like a replica of what his dad had while he was growing up, which was a 2.3 gear in Strato Silver. So yeah, we'll see how that goes once he gets it built and once he gets it on the road. So this here is another project of theirs. This is a Toyota Cortina. Cortina 2. Oh, this old thing. Catch under there somewhere, there it is. There you are, 2 litre engine, 16 valve, very cool. So, that's the engine bay. I believe this one comes very low mileage as well. I believe it comes from a widow whose husband had it and she didn't know what to do with it. So Marcus ended up buying it off her. Amongst all the grime and dust and cobwebs, it's actually a really solid car. I really like it. I do like a bit of the mundane. It's locked, but I don't know if you can see through the window. I don't think I can get the mileage. The mileage in there says 55,000, and I believe that's genuine. You can see all that through there. Look, all that lovely interior. Be nice to see this one get on the road. Very smart bit of kit, this. Quite rare now as well, in good nick, worth a few quid. So what's that? Look. Apart from being very oxidised and cobwebby, very cool machine. There's little Casper, that's Dale's dog. Oh. Keeping an eye on everything, he's good as gold. So there's a clue of what's going on today. Power steering racks. And here is Steve Ward's Mark V Cortina. I believe it's a 2 litre GL, this one. And he's done quite a few tasty mods to the whole thing. He's pretty smart. Check out them 7 spokes. He's lowered it to, I think it's -2, I believe, the springs on this thing. That's here today to have power steering fitted. And I think the brakes need sorting as well, I think. So, it's pretty smart, this.
Yeah, my mum and dad's exactly the same, they never threw anything away.
My dad's the same as well. He's still got bits of wood from 1972 that might come in handy. It's rotting now, but...
Yeah. Lovely inside.
I found a bit of kitchen worktop behind one of the sofas. I was like, it's only about that big. What are you going to do with that? You never know.
So this is what I've come up here for. One wiper motor. You can see the red still. This is off my old left-hand drive Taunus Mark IV. The bracket's different because it's left-hand drive, but I'll take it out. Just undo the 3 bolts. Out it comes. That'll be perfect. If we're going to stick this in the car. Ain't going there. Lovely job. So I'm back now at the car, about to head home because I've got family stuff going on today. So I'll probably film another day because it's quite busy in there today. I didn't really want to go filming all the stuff inside with the guys working and stuff. You know, there's a lot going on. But that was a brief insight anyways to Classic Car Bunker. I've got my wiper motor that I need for the car, so I shall get back and I shall if I've got time, I'll try and get that fitted and tested. That'd be good. Cool. Welcome back. It is the next day. I am back down the workshop, as you can see. Here's the Cortina, my 1982 Mark 5 Cortina estate that I'm working on. And here in place at the back here is the wiper motor that I got off Marcus yesterday from Classic Car Bunker when I went up there. So, just to demonstrate that it actually works, I shall quickly do an electrical system test to show you. So, ignition on. Oh, that's the ignition. Let's see. Right, turn them off. Wiper motor working. Fantastic. Put that in the park position. Make it easier when you install it. Cool. So that is that. So everything in the electric seems to work now, which is fantastic. I am going to now strip that off because that's on a left-hand drive bracket because it come off my old Taurus. I'm going to put it on the other bracket that's for this car. Hopefully get it all fitted and everything should work. That'd be nice, won't it? Here you are, you can see there that those pins are totally mullered, they're no good. Take them out the back there. Right. Finally got it. It was hidden over there amongst more of my rubbish. I really need to tidy up this workshop. I've got two 10mm. That's marvellous. Let me turn that out now. I've got it where I need it. A bit more wiggle room to get my hand behind. Come on, swine. The ratchet seems to match it. So no, turn that on properly. Let's try and get a 10mm spanner up there, maybe. That's not a bad idea. Trying to find a 10mm ratchet. Oh, look at that. Wowzers, this is. Absolute wowzers. That's the thing there. Come on, what are you doing? It's like it's almost. Alright, let's just got past the tough bit. finger tight now. Come on, that needs to be about there. Come on. That's it. That still needs a bit more. Yeah. There we go. Ready, finally. Is it Christmas yet? Nearly. Let's clean some of this up first before we go any further, otherwise I'll be tripping over it. How can this go and sit for the next million years? In there. Keep these bits. That little tray there, will do. Pop you in there. Put that up there. So, right now, put these bloody things back in. Hopefully, we'll working wipers. We can go on to something else. It's a bit monotonous and a ball ache. Right, that's been good enough to test. I know that's missing and I know they're loose. For the purposes of what I need to do, which is just to test the thing in situ. Come on, right, that one there. There we go. Pull that off there. Don't want it actually wiping the screen. Confuse everybody. Nice red one's the negative. And this black one to these two. Right. Jiggle, just make sure that works. Yeah, I've got hazards, so I've got electric. Why haven't I got any ignition lights? Well, they're working. Let's see if they park in the correct place. Yep, that'll do. That's good. Splendid. Splendid. So that should be everything. Just do a quick test of everything on here. Right. Right. My clock works, but I've got no ignition lights. It's probably the fuse box, I imagine. My lights work. Yeah, flashers, full beam. Horn, good. Nothing in the water bottle, but that works. Don't know if there's anything in the rear washer bottle. Can't remember. And I know the back one works because it was working a minute ago. And I'll try it anyway. Don't it to. Yeah, that one works splendidly. Look at that. Very nice. So just the ignition lights. Why is that? Why is that? I think it's to do with this fuse and this connection here. This fuse box looks a bit sad, to be honest. Connections all a bit mucky. That's weird. So when I won't have ignition lights, will I? Because they're not connected. It's the alternator and the oil pressure light. They're not connected to anything, so they won't. But the illumination works when I put the lights on. Do you? Yep, you're there. That's good. I'm guessing to get them to work, I'll have to ground them out. And that one, the oil pressure one, I can because it's got a metal end. Come on, that's it. I'll pull that too tight. I'm going to break it. Oh yeah, excellent. Look at that. Let me get you guys in there. In a minute. So there you go, you can see the dash. That's all good. You can just about see it's lighting up. Hazards. Good. Indicator, it works, but the front's not connected, hence. So that's all good. Look at the back. Yep, tail lights are working. Indicator, can't test the reverse light, of course. Not yet. There we go again. Don't worry, I know they're faded. They're faded in the sunshine. But I do have a pair of those in my box of tricks somewhere, or a boot of tricks. There we go, in there. Courtesy of Mr. Jamie Ballard, very kind of you, sir, thank you. Get that shut down so I can decapitate myself on the wiper arm that's sticking out. Turn all that off. So I'm happy. Clock even works. Sort your camera stuff out, Andrew. There we are. Very good. So I'm happy with the electrics. I always like to get it tested early on, so if you get any problems later, then you know that the basic looms are right. So I shall get in there and get these all bolted in. I might even change the fuse box because the fuse box has been repaired here, and I'll just I might try and swap it for another one. I've got, as you can see, all my stuff lying around. I've got that one, and probably a couple of others knocking about in my parts stash. Need any bits? Got loads of spares. Seriously, if anyone needs any Cortina spares, especially Mark IV, because I don't have a Mark IV now, I have got boxes of Mark IV parts. Some are interchangeable with the estate, but most aren't. So yeah, get in touch if you are seriously in need of some bits. I'll show you actually while I was talking about it. All that in there, look, come off my Taunus trims. That gaiters, there's door trims. Yeah, you can see for yourself. Lots of treasure in there. Treasure, not junk. Remember that. Make sure you tell the wides that. So yeah, alright, I'm gonna stop the camera rolling for a minute so I can crack on and get the rest of them bolts and find the rest of them, and then I can maybe, no, heater box has to be left off because it's a lot easier to get the engine in without the heater box on, because they are a massive engine. Although they're sort of, you can see here, excuse my bag, it's just the size of these heads, they're bloody huge. So I think I may even go in from underneath if I can, lift the car high enough and get that subframe actually under the car and up from the bottom. It might be easier to do that, but that's way ahead of what I'm doing anyway. I need to get, so the plan is get the, I've fitted the loom and tested what I can with no engine, so that is all good. I have to then do the ECU loom for the bay, get that fed through from inside and sort of put roughly in place. Then I want to do the fuel pipes and sort the fuel tank out. I want to do the fuel tank and install it. I want to rub it down, clean it up, paint it, and do the boot floor underneath. Hence I've got fun stuff. I'm going to end up absolutely caked in stuff like that. And the boot again, I might leave it open, I think. Actually, got myself a face shield, got myself some strip discs, and I shall be doing up under there and all that lovely stuff. I'm going to end up bloody painting the car at this rate. Anyway, so there, like I showed you in the other video, that's my tank. I think I'll give that a rub down and a paint just while it's off. It's only surface rust. It's a good tank, which is why I used it. One day of brake discs, brake pads. Okie dokie, cool. Right, back to the engine bay. Stop waffling. Right, here we go. This is the fuse box I'm going to put on. I might have some of these fuses off of here actually, because old ceramic, you cannot beat the old ceramic fuses that they used to use, because these new crappy Chinese things are plastic, and if they get hot they melt. These, I mean, for Pete's sake, you know, these have got to be at best 30 something years old, and they're still good. So it's the problem we're getting a lot these days, as I'm sure some of you, a lot of you car guys can relate to. Parts just don't have the quality that they used to have. I can remember going back to, when was it? I'm building my Mark IV. I bought a dreaded, yes, I'm going to say it, Akispark distributor. It was a Bosch style one. It was a complete unit. And I put it together and the cap wouldn't fit right. Like, what's going on here? And in the end, it wasn't machined right from factory. I ended up putting in a Bosch distributor, which was probably 40 years old. I'll come down here, you probably can't see me very well. And that worked mint, because it was just made, back then things were made just that bit better, where, you know, cost wasn't such a big thing, and yeah, they were actually quality products, you know what I mean? It's frustrating that we're getting stuff through like that. Things like, you know, I watch, as you can see, David Freiberger. Even in America, they're getting issues with off-the-shelf stuff. from China, or even stuff I think that's made in America isn't as good. He one of his recent videos, he was getting I think it's an F100 on the road. Brand new points, rubbish. Got an old set of points from, I think it was Rick Payway's stash, who he was helping him with. The guy that was helping him with it, I should say. And yeah, worked great. So yeah, it's just a pain. Stuff just isn't made as it used to be, sadly. And it's harder in this country. I know I'm in the UK, for anyone that isn't in the UK, of course. And you know, in America they've got like massive part O'Reilly's and all those places where they can get a lot of parts off the shelf, or if not, you know, they get them overnighted for cars going right back to the flipping 50s. And there's us in the UK struggling with a car that's 40 years old. I can get the basics. I've got a local parts store where I live here, and I can get, they're pretty good for the basics, you know, service parts, spark plugs, even bushes, drop links, that kind of thing. But everything else mainly is eBay or friends. If you've got friends that have got parts, you know, stuff like this, you'll never find anything like this off the shelf. This is ancient, you know, but it's great, fantastic. All right, stop waffling. Put me little dongle up there. Good little storage shelf. Now the trick is when I do this, is not to let the connectors fall through the hole, because that's going to be a bit of a pain. So there we go. They just pull off. Come on, that's better. There we go. Look at that. How nice they are. It's just the top side that looks crap. That's been repaired. You can see there. But I should definitely have those fuses because they're so much better. They should all be 8 amp on this. What's that say? 16. They've been putting 16s on this. Should all be 8 according to this anyway. Look. A little clear says they should all be 8. Very odd. Oh well. Not going to worry about that just yet. Oh. Make sure that's all in nicely. Yup. Cool. What are you doing? That's it. Come on, in you go. That's better. There's tomfoolery. What we'll also add is this has got a good seal on the back. Now, if you're watching this and you're not on Facebook or anything like that, there is a guy on eBay, Dave Harrison his name is, or LHD Classics, he goes under the name of, that's his company name, and he does new old stock. Well, he's actually reproducing all kinds of seals and stuff, not just for Cortinas, but for all sorts of cars. But him and another friend of mine, Dave Pollock, up in St Helens, he worked with Dave, did the two Daves, they worked together with new old Ford genuine parts, and he got all the mouldings made to make windscreen rubbers, door rubbers on here. This mine's knackered, so I'm going to have to replace mine. the seals under here as well. I'm going to have to buy a set because this is missing them for the heater box. He reproduced all them, really, really good quality, and they fit very well because him and Dave worked together to get the fit and finish actually really good. So let's get this connected. One on waffling. Waffles. Haven't had them in a while. Excellent. Right, little fuses. You may as well sit there for now, otherwise they'll get lost. Lovely jubbly. Cool. So that's the fuse box replaced. And this one. Yeah. In the stash of doom. You never know. Someone might need one. I'll have the fuses off of it at a later date. Now this here is for the brakes. That plugs into Toppy's servo master cylinder and shows up if you've got low fluid. Has my Taurus one got the right cap for that? Who knows? I'll have a look. Right, that can now go on there and it'll fit. It wasn't fitting because of the big solder piece, so that's that. Excellent. Sorry to blow you all away with me breathing in. Cool. So next up, okay, you lovely people, so here we go. That is now, I've tested it, you can see I've just been testing. Everything works jolly splendid, which is fantastic. I would call that all nicely done now, although obviously there's loads of mess everywhere. I'll have to clean up at some point. That won't be till the engine's gone in and sorted because it's pointless otherwise. I'm happy with that. Excellent. On to the next job. One thing I didn't touch on was motivation and how do you get motivated with a project this size. As you can see, there's a lot to do on this. I have had big projects before. In one of my other videos I touched on one that I built which essentially was worse than this. It was a rolling shell. It had nothing. It had no loom, no, even all the little, these little bits and every kind of little fixing and bracket and bolt was missing, and it was just on rolling axles. That was it. I put that together in 6 months, I think it was, and got it. It rolled out my lockup the day before Cortina Day. This is the Moose I'm on about, the beige Mark V that Dan Lewis now owns, and that's gone in for paint. And that is looking fantastic, must say. So yeah, that was 6 months. I started it on the end of January, and I got it driving at my lockup for the first time in 16 years, the day before Cortina Day, which was, I think, the first week in June. And got it MOT, cleaned it up, and took to Cortina Day the following day with all my camping gear, where I spent a week, or nearly a week down there. Now that was an example of almost like what I've got here, if not worse. Now the way I approached it, because I'm a typical person with a project like this, it can get overwhelming, and it still is a little bit, if I'm honest with you, but I just have to sort of break it down and do little bits. What I found was the best way for me, that worked for me personally, was that I would go down and I would, I don't know, say that I come down here today and the car was like this, but I had to fit the loom. So I would come down and I would do one job. If that's all I could do, I would do that one job in the time I spent down here, be it fitting the wiper motor, even if it's something, a job. This is the way it worked for me personally. Or even, if the mirror was missing, fit the mirror. Something that gives you just that enough enthusiasm to think, right, I've done that, I can go back the next day and do something else. And that's basically how I approached it. I come down this workshop after work or before work, it was, depending what shift I was on, and at weekends. I'll just do a bit, enough so that in my head I'd felt like I'd achieved something that day. And that was how I did it, little bit by little bit, until eventually I had a running car. and this is what I'm going to do with this. I'm not going to rush it. And you know, to be fair to my friends, you've heard me talk about Marcus and Dale, and a little bit about Jamie, people like that. I'm very lucky to have friends like that that are happy to come and help, even though they have projects of their own. You know, they've got cars. You know, Marcus and Dale are doing Classic Car Bunker on YouTube, and they're fixing cars and all sorts all the time. But I'm very, very lucky from that point of view that I've also got friends like that to call on, where we can, like when it comes to actually getting the subframing, which is a heavy job. I'm in my mid-40s and I've been doing a manual job a lot of years, and doing stuff like that and engines on your own nowadays, it's just stupid. You mess yourself up for days, even with people helping. So yeah, they've said, you know, when you're ready, give us a shout, and they will come down and we'll get like the engine, gearbox and subframe fitted, and then I can potter on myself again, do little jobs, you know, connecting up the wiring and doing the prop shaft, bits and bobs like that on my own. But that's how I get through with the project. That's how it's worked for me. I hope it, I don't know, with some of you guys that have got a project in the garage, maybe that might help. Might you think, well, yeah, it's not a bad way to do it. But that's how it worked for me. So yeah, but also what eggs me on a little bit more with this is the fact that it used to belong to a friend that we all knew in the Cortina world. He was Cortina. I used to help run the Cortina Fanatics page with Gavin and Adrian, and he was a big Cortina fanatic at the time. So I'm doing it also for him, this one, which is another reason why I'm probably putting a bit more effort into it than I normally would. And also, you know, if it helps, you know, if people enjoy watching it, if they enjoy listening to my drivel, crikey, and it helps or it entertains someone, or if it helps motivate someone, fantastic. You know, that's great, isn't it? That's the way I see it. You know, I don't do this, you know, for money or wanting to get famous or anything stupid like that. I couldn't think of anything worse. But if it inspires, crikey, you know, if that inspires somebody to get on and actually might think, oh, you know, I'll put all the shit off the top like I have. Yeah, right. But yeah, you get what I mean. Make a start, even, you know, just do a job and go from there. Gives you a little spur, little think, oh yeah, I've actually achieved something today, because that's the way I find works. I like to go home feeling that I've actually achieved something, and it's very frustrating. Like with the wiper motor, when I mullered that on Friday, when I come down here, and I couldn't get the thing to work, I was like, for Pete's sake, and I felt really frustrated with myself. But then I remembered that Marcus had my old one off the Tornus, so I got in touch with him. He was okay with me nipping up there and picking it up, which I did a little bit of filming, as I say, and there we are, it's all back in, all working. So I'm happy now that the early stage of the engine bay is working, and the car's actually looking, apart from a few, that's where the bonnet caught, but it's a lot tidier in there, I must say. I think you agree. Not too bad. I'm actually quite chuffed for a first go anyway, I must say. Excellent. Right, on to whatever I'm going to do next. Probably the wiring, trying to get that through that little hole there. The problem is that hole was already there from when the young lad had it, when he was going to Cosworth it, and it's a different size hole to the one that I need for my grommet. So I might have to, excuse me, play about with the rubber grommet a little bit when I feed it all through. But we'll cross that bridge when we get to it, I suppose, won't we? Jolly. So what I've decided is I'm going to have to run it under the radiator. There's some holes there, which are actually for, I believe they were for the if you've got a fuel return pipe there. So I think I shall do that. because my fuel returns, well, both my feed and my return have got to come in this side under the battery, because that's where the pipes for the injector rail feed from. So I won't need under here. So I think what I should do, I will do the loom that way and bring it up this driver's side chassis rail, and then that should be good for the Cosworth loom, I believe. Right, so what I have, these will be ideal, I think. Where's that through? Now I've got to find myself tapping didgeridoo-dahs. I believe that they are over here. Oh, there we go. Oh, 2 boxes. I am spoiled, aren't I? Yeah. What do you think? That one? That one. I might go belt and braces and have the longer one. Sod it. I'm going to put these where they're going to fall, and I'm going to lose them. Oh, on the battery there. There you are. I think 3 will be good enough. Trust the old Ooga Dooga. Mind the paintwork. Mind the paintwork. Let's try that for size. Put that round there. Give me plenty of room for the radiator when that goes in. Yep. I've actually got. Might have to go a size up, you know. What are these? These are 13s. It says 13. Of course, you can see that. So in this box of leftover stuff, I've got 19. That's way too big, surely. Don't call me Shirley. 19. 19. Right, 3 19s. Oh, I got 16 there. That's probably the right size. Well, I've only got one of them. 13. We'll go over there. 13. You can go over there as well. 9. Nope. That's a 19. Sure, I had another box of these as well somewhere. They're always somewhere. Look at my shelf. See if I have any more over there. Now, what do you think the answer is? No. That's got self-tappers. I use the 19s because that is quite thick loom. Doesn't have to be tight, does it? Yeah. There we go. Look at that. Splendid. Actually, I think the holes were for the those screws are too small. As is, heck man. Right, it's too big. I'm doing here. Let's go for the bigger ones. That's a bit more like it, so. Now these ones are 8s. Not epoxy 6s, or are they? Yep. Right, let's get that. That's 6 out. It could even be a 7, you know. Don't hit the floor. Splendid. That doesn't matter. Right, let's give one of these chunky fellas a go. Come on. It's been a pain. Trying to build you up into a car here again. There are some cars that fight people. I know Dale's had a lot of problems with his Escort. Trying to get that thing on the road. That had been off the road 19 years. No, not 19, 17. Tell a lie. And it just fought him. Has been fighting him and Marcus. Some want to live, some don't. I have a feeling this one wants to live. Look at that, almost professional. If I knew what I was doing. I'll just get you there. Show you. So you can see down there, look. That's what I've just put in. They don't have to be tight as long as they hold the loom in place. Right. Hopefully I've got enough room to fit the radiator. I might have to try that quick. Make sure it doesn't. Make sure it doesn't hit actually. Oh no, it's not going to hit because I'm going to have the spacer plates here and the radiator will come down there, which is awesome. So that'll be good. Right, so where am I with the rest of this loom? Now, just about. Yeah, that's going to have to come. Might have to cable tie that. I don't think both of those are going to fit under there without a bit of jiggly pokery, will it? I have to do a bit of cable tying, you know. Just put a cable tie around this and hold that in place. Where's my head is going to go? On this inner wing, I guess. And then I've got my loom. in there. Some sticky loom tape, which is always a joy. Well, that is basically the engine loom. I'll probably go through and tidy it up once, once it's all in place properly and I've managed to suss everything out. But that looks about it for now. Yeah, I think that. I've got here, I've got earths. I'm not sure what they are. I'm sure there'll be people that know what they are. I'll come to them when it gets to putting the engine in. Yeah, good, excellent. I'm happy with that. So, I'll put the fucking here. What's that? 10's already in there. 7. That's it there. I believe. Oh, that's all jolly. That's the coil goes to the front of the engine. Oh, there's me 13. 30mm socket. Put you back there, so that one in there. Okay, right. Now I really am finished. Excellent. So that's going to conclude it for today's video. I hope you enjoyed it. I'm certainly happy with my progress. So just to recap, you've got the poly bushes are in. Obviously I've painted everything. Poly bushes are in. I managed to, when everything was out, I managed to paint the panels for the wiper motor and the cover. Took a trip up to Classic Car Bunkers to get the wiper motor because my one was destroyed. Changed the fuse box, done all the wiring loom, tested that, and managed to feed through, a bit crudely, but it's fed through and sort of roughly sitting in place, the Cosworth engine loom. Yeah, I'm very happy with that. So if you enjoy it, please like it, and if you want to subscribe, that's fine, it doesn't cost you anything. I think that will do for today, and I shall see you in the next video. Thanks for watching.